Hello and welcome back to Dan Cave and welcome to another bench update. So this is the looking at November, half of December bench review. So yeah, so this one's later than usual. I normally try and get them out at the start of the month as a kind of retrospective for what's going on last month. So for a variety of reasons, this one is taking a little bit longer to get done. So here's the list of excuses. So November was a manic month, as December started as well. So November, I was at Telford. So that takes away a full weekend of kind of modelling time. Brilliant weekend. Brilliant to be there for the entire show, but you don't get any modelling done, so that's a write-off. Been to Canada with work for a week, so again that pretty much wrote off almost 2 weekends. The first weekend, prep for travel, and then jet lag coming back the following weekend, and then trip to Ireland. So that was a trip to Ireland to go back and see some family. So I've not seen my family because of things going on in the world since January of last year. So it was really nice to get back. So all those things have basically taken away 4 weekends, pretty much, of what would be quality modelling time. But I can't complain because these are things I wanted to do. Telford, go visit family, and things I need to do, work wise, because that puts money in my account every month when I get paid, and that pays for models and stuff, pays for a hobby. So that's the list of excuses. But however, got back from all those kind of trips and stuff, kind of focused on getting that last part of the Suzuki out as a video, because that had been lingering for a while, and that entire build had taken quite a period of time, and I wanted to get that done and kind of pushed off the bench and onto the completed list. So that's been done. So that video's out. That went out last Friday. I'll stick a link in the description or up on screen or something. I'll figure out how to do something and share a link, but we'll talk about that because that's one of the things that was finished. Only thing that was finished, I think. But we'll have a look. We'll have a bit of a chat about that in a while. So yeah, time's a little bit freer now, I think, in the run up to Christmas. So it's like the calm before the storm. So I thought I'd quickly get a bench update done, and we'll look back mainly at November. And see what the usual things have been done. What's been finished, what's been bought, what's in progress, that kind of stuff. We'll talk about plans and maybe a little bit of a plan for next video, for end of year or start of next year, shall we say. So there we go. That's the intro. So probably should have started with this. If you've not been here before, this is a video. This is a modelling channel. I build scale models. If you want to give a subscribe, please do. If you want to like the video, please do. Please drop a comment if you want. But more importantly, thank you everyone that's watched so far. Thank you to all the current channel members, subscribers. Without your support, I'm just a crazy Irishman talking to himself. Which I think I do anyway, but that's neither. No, you don't. Yes, I do. So there we go. Right, so we'll go over to. Should we go over to the bench now? Am I done with the intro? I can't remember. I should have a script for these things. I should really write down what I want to cover, but I think I've covered all the intro stuff. Don't know. Not sure. Am I? I could be. Yeah. Let's head over and we'll cover the what's been built. What's been built? Let's do that. I'm sure. Yeah. Let's go. So, that was the intro done. So first up is what's been built. So sadly November has only managed one completed build, which is, I don't know, disappointing for me. It's certainly below where I tend to normally kind of get to in a month. I don't know how I managed to build so much, but I do. But however, so the one completion, which I mentioned earlier, is this, the Tamiya 12 scale RGV Gamma. The plague that it's been for me, to a certain extent. I mean, yeah, that's a little bit harsh. I mean, what I will say is, this Tamiya kit is a fantastic kit. Every single problem I've had with this has been because of my own doing. So absolutely no problem with the kit. So there's a full video build series of this on the channel. 6 parts, I think. And it does cover, the things that went wrong as well. So, the first thing that kind of went wrong with it was this lower fairing. Let's grab a pointy thing. So this lower fairing, I managed to damage one of the decals when I was doing that. So I ended up getting another set of decals, stripping everything, repainting, redecaling. That was all good. So then sadly the clear coat went a little bit awry. And I mean, you can kind of see that there is a few blemishes there. You can see, let me see if I can get a good shot of that without damaging the model. So just about there, there's a rather nasty run. There's a couple of spots where clear coat didn't quite self-level and flow, and as I said, in the video at the time, I think it all came down to the very first coat. I didn't put down enough 2K, so the second coat didn't really have anything to adhere to, so I got a little bit of surface tension, didn't quite work, so it didn't self-level, and then the final coat I basically had to hose it on, and that just meant I got massive runs in places but didn't really resolve kind of some of the other core issues. So that kind of dragged the mojo away from it a little bit. But, I kind of plugged on, started getting the kind of engine and frame together. All those went together pretty well. I was reasonably pleased with the exhausts. Could have done with a bit more of a red-purple tone in there, which I didn't put in, but I think that's one area I can kind of fix on the next model. So I'm not, reasonably happy with it, but not as probably good as I'd want it to be. But it's okay. So then, kind of engine and frame are done. Then, sadly, just after coming back from Telford, while I was sorting stuff out in the modelling room, I managed to drop something on the bottom fairing, and you can kind of see quite clearly where that's been glued back together. That colour variation you see, that's where the 2K is actually completely lifted off the surface. But luckily enough, that's pretty much completely on the underside. And is almost invisible and can't be seen, which is nice. So let's just get this paddock stand back on. So in a way, when it's sat on the shelf, kind of looks side on, etc., you can't really see those flaws as obvious. So kind of got away with that a little bit. And then, as for the rest of it, getting the final assembly, I kind of rushed that a little bit just to get it done. So, I wouldn't say it's as kind of refined as maybe some bits would be. So, stuff like the foot pegs, the forks and stuff like that. I probably rushed a little bit just to get them done. A little bit of brush painting and stuff just to add in the kind of different colours on the throttle and clutch lever, stuff like that. So, but it got it done, got it completed. So it is another one done. So that's happy. But that is the only completion for November. Boo. But there we go. We'll kick on with December, we'll try and get a bit more done in December. He says that as if that's going to happen. Right, so what's been bought? Well, I'm trying to think what's the best way to show this. Well, actually, let's I think let's have a look at what the couple of pictures I took when I came back from Telford, and we'll kind of run through the highlights, because actually I did buy a huge amount at Telford. Spent quite a few quid, bought quite a few kits. So in terms of kind of products and tools and stuff, there was this kind of haul. What's not shown is I did pick up another Apex. That's not shown in the picture, but in there you've got a whole load of stuff. So loads of UMP sanders, just stocking up on those. Some of the UMP 3D printed Apex holders and tape dispensers, very useful items. Picked up a whole load of Alclads, a couple of candy colours, some hot metal colours. So I mentioned that in the what's been finished. I wanted to get some hot metal colours maybe to try on the next build. A few other bits and pieces, Xuron, P shears, Tamiya fine engraving, blade and handle, and there's an anti-static brush buried in there somewhere as well. So a whole lot of stuff like that was bought in terms of the tools. So in terms of kits, that's the massive pile that I kind of threw on the floor when I got in. So starting from top left, so picked up the new Lancia Delta S4 in the toe tip scheme. Lovely kit, lovely car. So picked up the new Celica GT4, the ST165 in the FINA scheme, which I think is a lovely scheme on the car. And watched them for years in rallying back in the 90s in Ireland as well. So yeah, always had a kind of soft spot for the Celicas. So picked up two Aoshima kits. So I picked up two of the AE86 Corolla kits, the Trueno and the Levan. So basically the difference between them is one's got pop-up lights and one's got standard kind of set of headlights on the front. But both kits are pretty much the same. But again, they were imported into Ireland. For years people imported them because they were a cheap rear-wheel drive kind of 2-door, 3-door car. So they were very popular back in the 80s and 90s. Then of course picked up even more popularity because of things like Initial D. So the drifter scene is kind of reinvigorated their following. Always a sucker for a touring car, so I picked up the Chevrolet Cruze. So that's Ivan Muller's car, shown on the box. Yeah, touring cars, just like touring cars. No particular affinity for Chevrolet Cruzes, but just it's a touring car. So there's a couple of sets of wheels from Aoshima. So one of those sets we'll probably have a look in the next bit in the what's in progress. Picked up a NASCAR, Jimmy Johnson Chevrolet, and picked up a Foose Chevy Impala from Revell as well. So the NASCAR is a Revell kit as well. So yeah, it's quite a little bundle of kits. There was not shown, there was a couple of Formula 1 kits which I bought off of someone else at ISM. Two Tamiya 20th scale kits, so McLaren MP413 and a Williams FW13B. So that's the kind of stash growing considerably in November again. So yeah, so that's the what's been bought. So next bit, critical bit, what's in progress. So where will we start with in progress? Okay, so I showed, I think last month, I think I showed this Hasegawa Toyota 88C in progress. So that's still in progress, hasn't really moved on. It's been primed in white primer. The yellow is showing through, but it's going to be painted yellow anyway, so not a big deal. So yes, that's pretty much sat untouched for weeks now. Was thinking about this being a video build. I've decided not to in the end. No particular reason other than timing, really. I just won't have the time to get that done either. So yeah, so that's that. Hopefully we'll get some work done over Christmas. I think next step will be to paint the yellow, mask and paint the black. I think I'm going to give it a clear coat before the decals to try and reduce the amount of bleed from the yellow and black through to the white, but we'll see how that progresses. But that'll be the next steps on that. So voila. So the other main kit in progress, which we were watching the ISM Friday Night Live shows, you know it was the ISM Christmas build, is the Revell Foose F100 pickup truck, which a whole lot of people have bought them. So mine has been primed in... The hell did I prime this in? Must have primed it in white. Yeah, I think it was UMP white I ended up priming it in. So the base colour is Gravity Spain Ford Nitrous Blue, which I was actually really surprised with. It's actually got a metallic fleck in it as well, so it's actually a really nice colour. It looks like a kind of a goldy metallic fleck in it. So yes, I'm really pleased with that. Bare metal foil was done, and then it's been 2K'd 3 or 4 days ago with Gravity Spain 2K. And there was a couple of dust spots in that 2K. It's probably hard enough to flat and polish as it is, because what are we, today's Wednesday, so this was done Sunday, so it's had, yeah, it's kind of 2.5, 3 days in, so that probably won't get done until the weekend, but that's probably good enough to flat and polish now. So yeah, so I think that's got, you can see, there's my ugly mug appearing in the roof. So there we go. That's the other thing in progress. And then slightly back to my roots. Finally in progress is the Great Wall Hobbies 144th scale Vulcan. So that is in progress, despite everything being shoved back in the box. But yeah, so the main kind of in progress bit on that is the upper and lower fuselage are together. So next steps on that are basically cleaning up the join line, maybe a little bit of filling on the underside. You can see there is a little bit of a gap just where those sit in. But yeah, so far so good with this kit. Not much to do before you get to kind of this stage, so you know that was kind of a little quick step on that. This will be a video build. Haven't decided kind of how many parts, but I'm kind of thinking maybe just one part. They've proven quite popular, the ones that I've done, but that's a bit of a TBC. Don't know yet, but that's definitely in progress. So yeah, so that's everything that's on the bench. Can't see anything else around that I need to show you. So back to me, I guess. Hello. So that's the built, bought, in progress. I suppose a key message for this time of year is Happy Christmas to everyone. I hope everyone out there stays safe, stays well, has a good Christmas, has a good time of year, and more importantly, you know, gets at least some kind of chance to kick back and relax, spend some time with your family, whatever. But yeah, hopefully everyone out there can can stay safe over this Christmas period and look after themselves. So yeah, so that, as I said, I kind of November. I kind of thought going into winter would be a busy. I said this for a few months. I thought things were going to get better for modelling for me over the last few months, but it's kind of gone the other way because I've back ended the year with kind of a number of holidays and work trip. Was caught up with me and Telford and visit to Ireland and stuff like that. So it's actually really taken away from bench time, and I kind of feel in terms of the content that's gone out. So I think it's something I'll think about for next year in terms of trying to, I don't know, plan around things like that a little bit more so that I can have better consistency in terms of what's produced. Because I think the gaps between videos, sometimes people, I can kind of see in the views and stuff, you can see the drop off in kind of view time when videos don't get out. So people get triggered to watch stuff, buy stuff being released. So it's a good way to gauge people. But, at the end of the day, I kind of said from the start, this was never about really having a YouTube channel for the sake of having a YouTube channel. It was about more kind of documenting what I do, modelling wise, and hopefully kind of sharing a little bit of the kind of skills and techniques that I use, but more for me just to kind of record and kind of look back. So even now, certainly as I come towards the end of this year, and the channel's really only been live since February, March time, I can see the progress I've made on certain topics. I can see certainly in terms of the video production standards, have certainly improved. I think I've figured out a better way to produce them over the year, and I think that the quality of the production is about at the level that I'm quite comfortable with, and I don't think that was there at the very start. So stuff like that, has kind of made an obvious step forward. But I think kind of looking at my kind of modelling as well, I think some of the models I've produced and just how I document them has changed a little bit, and that'll maybe come out in the Vulcan when I build that, because that as I said already, that's going to be a video build. And I'm thinking that's just going to be a one-part video build, because looking at the feedback on what's been done so far, two of the aircraft I built this year, which were single parts, seem to have gotten the best feedback. So I'm not entirely driven by that, but it is kind of useful to know. And I think for a fairly simple kit like that, I did the Victor, which was a simple kit, but I did that in 5 parts, which is just perhaps a lot to kind of cover a relatively simple topic. But that was one of the earliest kind of video builds I did. So for the Vulcan, I'm kind of thinking 1 part, maybe 2 at most, depending on how long it takes to progress. But that's the current kind of thinking. So that's pretty much the end of the update. Turning in terms of major content, I suppose the key thing is, again, thanking everyone, thanking all of you guys for watching, tuning in. If you're still awake, thanks a lot. If you're a new viewer, please give a thumbs up, please give a subscribe, tick the bell notification as well. That'll make sure you get informed of all the new releases. But the one thing I've been kind of recognizing over the last few weeks is just how good this community can be at times. From whether it's from Paul at ISM, so International Scale Modeler, it's a great community on Facebook. The YouTube channel is well worth a look as well. And then there's the guys on the Friday Night Live show, who are an absolute great bunch of guys, and it was an absolute pleasure to meet most of them at Telford this year. It's always very different seeing people in 3D versus 2D on a screen. So that was a really nice occasion, to actually see those people face to face. Yeah, and you know, for those guys, you know, Luke Carswell, Black Rifle Model Works, he's back on YouTube now, which is great to see. Luke's a fantastic builder, and you know, particularly what looking at some of the things he's spoken about that he's planning to do over the next 12 months, you know, he's really kind of driving himself into slightly different directions, doing some topics outside of his normal kind of, you know, probably core genres of armor, and certainly over the last kind of year or so, the Warhammer 40k stuff. So I mean, in the last few months, he's done a tractor, he's done a pickup truck, he's in the middle of a tornado. So you know, go and check out Black Rifle Model Works, see what Luke is up to. Then we've got the other Luke, Scale Motor. That guy just blows me away at times with some of the ideas he drops into his model builds. I give him a bit of a hard time for not finishing a lot, but I think it's because he invests so much time and comes up with some brilliant ideas. He gets a little bit distracted in some of them. So, you know, whether it's the work he's doing, you know, with some of the 3D printing he's done, some of the wheels he's produced, fantastic. I've used some of his distributors in some of my builds as well, so they've been great. So, you know, check out Scale Motor on Etsy as well, because he sells some of his stuff over there. But if nothing else, check out Scale Motor Hobbies on YouTube as well. Roland, of course, Model Kit Beginner. If you want to know what's in a box, I mean, the guy's built most of the kits out there probably at this stage, but certainly, you know, his inbox reviews are very, very good. And Roland's a true gent as well. Who else from the live shows, the channel? I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. I mean, there's a few other people out there over the last few weeks that, you know, kind of interacted with a little bit more. You know, so Scaly Models, Mike, he's always plugged my channel a lot, and, you know, he does a lot of live streaming. So, you know, thank you for that, Mike. But certainly check out Scaly Models as well. Ice Queen as well, Sue Shapland. Again, having, you know, she was on ISM, the Friday Night Live show, did her interview, and, you know, absolutely fascinating. You know, her and her husband. Just the interest they have in the hobby and how she's got into it, and you know, and the level of work she's producing is fantastic for someone who's probably a relative newcomer to the hobby, certainly compared to some of, you know, the people out there that have been, you know, modeling for 30-40 years. But yeah, so certainly check out, you know, Sue's channel, Ice Queen as well. She does live streams as well, so, you know, again, you know, both kind of Mike and Sue do a lot of the kind of more interactive streaming. The difficulty I have with that is, you know, a lot of the time they stream, I tend to be in work, so you know, it's often hard for me to watch, you know, live while I'm at work. But you know, when I'm available, I can. But for everyone out there, you know, if you guys are free, please tune into these channels. And if nothing else, it just kind of keeps that kind of community of people together. You know, we're all sharing a hobby, you know, and it's a very individual thing, but to have a group of people you can share ideas with, you get ideas from, you get answers to your questions, it's always brilliant. So yeah, so great for those guys out there, and thanks to them all for the help and support that they've given me as well over the last year or so. So yeah, so I've waffled on for probably way too long. Talk about padding the video because there's not much content in the middle this month. But there we go. Thank you to everyone. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. And I'll see you all in a upcoming video very, very soon, hopefully. So, bye-bye.